You can make yogurt in about 5 minutes with nothing but a seed starting mat that has a temperature controller, a casserole dish with a lid, and some towels. So let's get started. I'll put 2 tablespoons of coconut flour in the dish. I'm going to start with the previous batch and just put a big spoonful in there. Be sure to use a spoon, not a whisk or a blender, because you don't want any cootie catchers on your equipment. That's where bacteria can live, and that's where contamination comes from. Just kind of make this into a paste. It's okay if there are big clumps, and we'll make those into little clumps, and the little clumps will go away during fermentation. Get some half and half, and just make sure that your half and half doesn't have any emulsifiers, thickeners like carrageenan. You don't want any freaky ingredients in your yogurt. Just milk and cream. There's a few good brands on the market. Just put a little bit of it in there, and just keep making a paste out of it. A little bit more. Now we're going to put a quart in. Yeah, I just wash all of my equipment out in the sink. The doctor who invented reuteri yogurt, Dr. Davis, he's said a number of times that's all that you need to do is just soap and water. So let me get this. Another half and half. You want to put a quart of half and half in here. And I'm using an 8-inch casserole dish. And let me put this other one in here too. Okay, and I'm just going to stir this in. And again, you don't need to worry about little clumps in here. They always go away during fermentation. You know, the bacteria, they love to eat the coconut flour, and you know, they'll take care of those little lumps themselves. And, you don't need to put a stick blender with cootie catchers in there and maybe contaminate your yogurt. All right. So I'm just going to set the lid on here gently. I'm not going to snap it on. And I'm going to put it on the seed starting mat. Yeah, that's waterproof. It's all good. Okay. All right, now I'll put a good thick towel over it. I've got a piece of styrofoam under it to help keep the heat in, but you could also use some thick folded towels. Okay, and I'll show you how to set this seed starting mat. And plug it in first. Next, put the sensor on the seed starting mat. Wedge it under the casserole dish and get it more or less in the middle of the mat, because that's where the mat gets hottest. It doesn't get very hot along this edge. Wedge it under there so that it makes good contact with the seed starting mat. Okay, make sure you can see this. Okay, so press and hold set until it flashes. And then you set your temperature. I make SIBO yogurt, so I'm going to do this at 106. And then press set. And that'll get it up to that temperature. And this will keep the temperature even during a power outage. And so if I unplug this and I plug it back in, it knows what temperature it's supposed to be at. Okay. So that ferments for 36 hours, and I guess you could set a timer on that, but I'm going to show you how to do that on your phone. I'm also going to show you where Dr. Davis says all that you need to do is soap and water. You don't need a 20-step sterilization process, but that's it. That's all that I do to make my yogurt. And you could take this traveling. If you want yogurt when you're traveling, just substitute a silicone dish for the glass one. Okay, let's set an alarm on your phone. Tap the alarm app on clock, plus figure out when 36 hours from now is. So for me, that's going to be Saturday at 7:49 a.m. So I'm going to tap Saturday, and we'll change where it says every Saturday. Tap the calendar, tap the date, and tap done. We'll change the time. 7:50 now. And you can tap PM if you want to. Save. And I just tapped that. I'm going to give this an alarm name, yogurt. Done. And hit save, and that's it.
Take this one here, a spatula. Right here, where the handle meets the silicone or rubber, that can be a source of contamination. Another common source is if you use a blender. I would advise you to not use blenders, but look at all your devices, all your utensils, and see if there's any potential for microbes to have inserted themselves into the cracks or crannies of this device. Make sure they're thoroughly cleaned with hot soap and water. That's all it takes, because any residue of prior food can be a source of microbes.